Now let's begin from Parliament, where fresh allegations of contempt of Parliament will be raised against Asin Central MP Ken Agyapong when the Privileges Committee of Parliament meets this afternoon. That meeting actually has begun. Well, the committee is investigating allegations that the MP called Parliament useless. Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak is before the committee this afternoon to make his case. Now, JoyNews has gathered that he will also make fresh allegations of contempt against Mr. Agyapong for calling him, quote, dumb. And then he will demand that the committee investigates that as well. Let's head to Parliament now, where Joseph Opoku Gakpo, our parliamentary correspondent, is standing by with the very latest. Hello, Joseph.
You guys there?
Yes.
Well, Joseph, if you can hear me, we can just go ahead with the details. What do we know at this point? We know that the meeting has started. Tell us a bit more. Well, obviously, Joseph is having a hard time hearing us, but I believe he can hear us now. Joseph, if you can hear me.
The meeting has begun, chaired by the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Owusu, who is also chairman of the Privileges Committee of Parliament. Gift, if you can hear me, the meeting has begun. It actually started well about 30 minutes ago, chaired by Joseph Osei-Owusu, who is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. And at the commencement of the meeting, he indicated that they are expecting both witnesses to appear before them. The contemner, in this case, Ken Agyapong, who is accused of making the said contentious comment, and also Muntaka Mubarak, who is the minority chief whip, who made the allegation. Initially, when the sitting began about 30 minutes ago, none of them were available. But the first Deputy Speaker indicated that this is a case in which he would want to be fair to the fact. He wouldn't want a situation of anyone speaking behind anyone. Those were his words. And so what they've asked is that both Ken Agyapong and also Muntaka Mubarak appear before the committee this afternoon. And to quote him, he said, well, if he decides not to show up, then it's up to whom. Those were his words. And he indicated that the processes will then kick off. The committee waited for a while. Well, about 5-7 minutes ago, the minority chief whip Muntaka Mubarak walked into the committee sitting. It was an open session. The media was ready. A few minutes after Muntaka Mubarak walked in, the chairman of the committee, Joseph Osei-Owusu, indicated that this is supposed to be a meeting of just the committee members to make a determination on the specific issues that they are supposed to deal with and to hear from the parties in the case. And so it's not open to the public, it's not open to the media. So he asked the media to step out of the room while they go ahead and deal with the issues. And so Muntaka Mubarak is in there at the moment, and the media has been ushered out, and we gather that he's been asked to present a verbal version of previous documents that he's presented, and also the allegations that he's making that Ken Agyapong made comments that were contemptuous of the House. So that session is ongoing on the 10th floor of the Job 600 building in Parliament House as I speak to you.
Okay, well, so Joseph, hang out for us. I'll return to you. But let's hear from the Asin Central MP, Ken Agyapong, who has been speaking to us earlier today about whether or not he will ever consider the suggestions for him to tone down his language. And then we'll return to Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Hear the MP.
I think they've invited Honorable Muntaka to come with evidence that I insulted Parliament. But the media made a mistake and lumped us together. But if they invite me, I'll show you, I'll go. Because I never insulted Parliament. I was responding. You see, Muntaka made a mistake. I was responding to one MPP vice chairman in Ashanti. Of course, he has apologized, so I'm only repeating, not that I'm going back to the issue. So the vice chairman went on air, Fox, Happy, and all those to say that if I am saying that Anas is a blackmailer and extortionist, then I don't deserve to be called an MP. And if I can't live with Anas, I should move to Togo. Then, he will never call me honorable. So then, of course, my leader, he didn't insult me. But it's like what he was referring to was undermining what I was doing because I have evidence and he doesn't. So I think the proper thing for my leader to have done was to call me. But this radio station will call me, your leader is saying, I said, well, he doesn't know what I know. So when I went on my station, it came up again. I said, look, if he says he's not going to call me honorable doesn't give me money. 11,000 cedis is my salary. And my chop money is more than that. So what? But if you guys believe in an ass, that he's the truthful person, why is it that he did an investigation against judiciary and he brought it and he didn't bring the parliament? He should bring the parliament one too. And I pose the question, is legislature better than the judiciary or what? So why should he bring the judiciary and leave parliament?
No parliament, do you have evidence?
That's what he has been saying. That's what he has been bragging everywhere that parliament were begging him. But we wanted him to bring it out. Okay? So I said to my leader that, look, I respect you. I respect my leader. But of late, the way he goes out criticizing me, next time, if he continues like that, I'll deal with him pepe. That's what I said.
But
see, I didn't say parliament, I have fun.
Okay.
Me say I have fun. I have fun means nasty. And yet, me say I have fun.
Oh, I have for cheap.
Yes.
Okay.
If parliament is not cheap, no, the guy could not even go on air to insult me the way he insulted, and rather parliament accuse me when I am responding.
All right, so Mr. Ken Agyapong, Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak will be presenting his evidence. Earlier you said that you didn't do anything wrong. Do you still stand by that?
Yeah, I have never insulted parliament. I didn't insult parliament. That's why I call him dumb. He consumes information and he doesn't digest.
So prior to this, what was your relationship with?
He's not my friend. But during the vetting, he called me and asked me to tell Esla something. I called Esla and said, this is what the guys are saying. I'm surprised. The Esla answer was fantastic. I said, how? I'm a lawyer. I qualify to be a minister. No, I'm not going to do it.
Are you suggesting that they were asking her to pay anything?
I don't. Well, when he challenges me, then he will see.
And it certainly looks like a showdown is about to happen, but we'll see how it all goes in Parliament, where Joseph is still standing by for me. Hello, Joseph. We've just been listening to the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Ken Agyapong. Initially, he sounded as though he's toned down a little bit in terms of, the loudness in his voice. But has he appeared in Parliament today?
I've not cited him. I'm told he's around, but I've personally not cited him. The chairman of the Privileges Committee, Joseph Oseusu, indicated that they have invited him as well, apart from the invitation that's been extended to Muntaka Mubarak. And so they are expecting him to also appear. And so they would want him to come face to face with Muntaka Mubarak to clear up the issues. And so they are all waiting for him. His comment about Muntaka Mubarak being damp is something that he raised when he spoke to the media last week in Parliament House. From what we've gathered, Muntaka Mubarak is likely to raise that issue when he appears before the committee, which is currently ongoing at the moment, beyond the earlier claim that Parliament is whether cheap or useless or foolish or whatever, which had come up earlier. We understand that the fresh attack that he launched on Muntaka Mubarak intends to bring that up as a second allegation of contempt against Ken Agyapong. And I've been speaking to the vice chairman of the Privileges Committee, Andrew Mesa, and asking the question about whether the committee will be ready and willing to admit a fresh allegation beyond what has been referred to them by the Speaker. He says that's the decision that they will take when they get to the bridge, and after Muntaka Mubarak has presented any such allegation or evidence of such claim that he's done before them, and then a determination on that would as well be done.
Joseph, I'm wondering if any of the members of Parliament have been speaking about this. If they have, could you tell us what they say? If they haven't, could you tell us what the mood and the feeling is like in Parliament today, knowing very well what's about to happen?
So for the members of the committee, they think this is an issue that they need to get over and done with in order to clear up the image of the House with all the allegations that come up, so that then they can get back to what they describe as more important business. A while ago, before the media was ushered out of the committee sitting, Samson Ahi, who is the MP for Boedi and also a member of the committee, indicated that they were earlier given 12 o'clock to show up. The meeting was shifted to 2 p.m. and they are still waiting for the various parties. He was essentially drumming home the point that as quickly as possible they would want to get this sitting done and get the issue cleared up and then move on to other things. I've been speaking to other members of the committee, and they also make the point that these claims to a certain extent have virtually affected the image of the House with all the allegations that come up, with the back and forth, with the radio interviews that come up in which Muntaka Mubarak has, for example, dared Ken Agyapong in his demand for a showdown and indicate that he's a Zongo boy and he's ready to face him. They think such issues shouldn't continue in the media. So for MPs generally, they want the committee to quickly look into this matter, come up with its report, make recommendations to the General House or the plenary, and then whether sanctions need to be applied or people be left off the hook or apologies be rendered, that can be done so the House can focus on other equally important things.
Joseph, thank you very much for that update, but you still have to hang on for us because there's another issue that has to do with Parliament, and we'll have to come back to you for that explanation.